a cane and a walker or a rollator, I guess is what they call the ones that have wheels instead of you just carry them and move along. So on our trip to Cuba, we went to the gate, we went through security, and that was number one. She was fortunate that she didn't need to walk through the scanning device with her walker. She can do it independently, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So they just scanned her walker. Once we boarded, obviously we got to go in early. Everyone who's flown knows that they let people with mobility issues or need more time to get on first, which was nice. So, sorry, the dog's big booty is pushing the tripod stand around. Yeah, so you go right to the gate or right to the plane door. You leave your thing there like you want a stroller or anything else, and then you proceed to get on the plane. The interesting thing was, if you're traveling within North America, as I understand it, when you land at your destination and you get off the plane, if you had a walker or wheelchair or stroller or anything like that, it's going to be right at the door of the plane. So as soon as you get out, you've got it to move on. Well, that is not the case in Cuba, and there's probably a lot of other vacation destinations that operate like this. So when we landed in Cuba, her rollator or walker wasn't at the plane door. In fact, we were outside and she had to go down a pile of steps. So we just took our time, we got her down there. And right at the bottom of the steps, there's a couple people there with wheelchairs. They had no idea that we were coming. Someone else on there needed a plane, but this is just something they do. So we didn't tell them we were coming or we may need a wheelchair or any of that type of stuff. It was just there. He looked at my wife who had her cane by the time she got to the bottom of the steps, and they said, "Hey, do you need a wheelchair?" And after some weird looks at each other, because it's a hard thing to accept, my wife got on a wheelchair and we breezed through that line. I gotta tell you, we were through the health check, through security, sitting in the VIP lounge before most people were even at the door of the customs. It was so fast. And we have another close friend that we'd met down there, and she has CP, so she's pretty much her whole life, I believe, has had a walker and mobility issues. And she was Paralympian, actually, so she traveled quite a bit around the world, and so she had down to an art, and we were talking about that. She surprised us on vacation down there, and we were talking about how quick, we got through security and all that stuff, and how simple that process was in Cuba. And she said, it's got to have some perk. And sadly, it does. There are not a lot of positives to having mobility issues, well, there's a perk. So if you have one and you're getting there, take it as the perk that it is. They'll pick you up in the wheelchair, they'll get you right through, they take you right through the whole thing, right to the VIP. And when the time came for us to leave we went to VIP, but you could be in a lounge or whatever. When the time comes, they come and get you in the lounge, and they take you right to the base of the stairs of the plane. And that guy walked my wife right to the plane door, made sure she got up there safe. And I was quite impressed at how smoothly that went, both the arrival and the departure. As soon as we got off the bus, when we were leaving, and we got at the airport, stepped off that bus, there was a guy with a wheelchair, boop, boom, and we were, again, the same thing. We flew through everything. So just take that as the perk that it is. There are not a lot of positives to having a mobility issue, and that is one of them. So if you are traveling, specifically Cuba, because I can speak to it now, they really do take care of you. So if you do hear that, hey, your walker is not going to be at the door for you when you get off the plane, don't fret. Don't fret. They treat you like royalty. Take it for what it is. Have some tip money for that guy. Just phenomenal experience on that front, how caring they were. So take that for what it is. A lot of resorts in Cuba prior to my wife's mobility challenges. there's not a lot of smooth anywhere. I mean, the lobbies and stuff are usually pretty smooth with their tile, but once you get onto that concrete stuff and those walkways to your rooms, they're bumpy. They're not, and you know, it is what it is. But wasn't sure how well that would go, but surprisingly went quite well. The Rollator, the four-wheel blocker, did a great job. I mean, our wheels aren't huge. Did a good job of getting her around. Some surprising things that one of the walkways to the snack bar is at a grade. It can't be even that extreme, right? It's kind of like whoop, and had a little bit of a whoop at the end of it as we were going. We'd leave our room to get to like the core area where the pool and the snack bar and the entertainment area are. And things you don't think of, but that's quite a whoop pushing uphill, and it did feel a little bit like some places were uphill both ways, and although they weren't very extreme, it helps to have someone to help support you depending on the level of your mobility, but not a deal breaker by any stretch. But it was just things you don't think about. I find myself thinking about a lot of different things now that I had never considered, and a different perspective. And it's sad that something has to happen in your life that makes you think like this. I wish I'd thought like this before for all the other people that aren't part of my life, just to appreciate and understand what day-to-day looks like. It was eye-opening, but it did not ruin our trip in any way, shape, or form. My wife and I have been traveling the world now for close to a decade after our kids kind of moved on their own, and we've been free spirits, no mobility issues, right? And this is really our first trip, an annual pilgrimage we do to Cuba. This is our first trip where we had to deal with something like this, and we're still both wrapping our heads around what this means. And with MS, sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off. She's gonna have good times, she's gonna have bad times. We don't know what level of mobility is in our future, but you know what's not gonna happen? We're not gonna stop traveling. We're gonna still do what we do. We're gonna go to these places. We're gonna have a great time, and we're gonna make shit work. That's who we are. That's what we do. So if you're struggling with a mobility issue or planning a vacation, like I initially started this as more of a vacation kind of thing, specifically to Cuba, for getting off and on the plane, but now realizing that somebody watching this maybe have a spouse, or maybe it's them, that has a mobility challenge, and it's new, and it's hard, and it's scary, but you'll figure it out. Don't give up. Don't change your life. Modify, but don't change who you are. Don't change what you do. Go out, keep living, because I think the mind is so powerful that it can adapt and overcome to anything. So I hope this helped somebody, even one person. Really felt compelled to share. This took a little bit of a turn from where I initially intended this video to go, but I think it's important that I share this experience, because this is very new for us. I think it's only been 2 months. So, life changes quick. 2 months ago, we were rolling around, fully able-bodied, doing whatever the hell we wanted, taking life for granted, effectively. I mean, we appreciated life, but we were never thought that, hey, guess what? Within 2 months, you're going to be moving a lot slower. And so live in the moment. Take that trip now. And God forbid if it does happen to you, don't give up.